Welcome to the Nearly Enlightened podcast, a high vibe toolbox designed to help you connect to your body, mind, and spirit. I am your host, Giana, and I'm here to share tools, conversations, and insights to help you on your journey of self discovery. This podcast is all about exploring what it means to live a conscious, connected, and nearly enlightened life because the truth is, the answers aren't outside of us, they already lie within. Dee is back with me today. Welcome. First episode of season 5.
Hey, season 5. All right, let's get it. Thanks
Kind of
for having
crazy.
me.
Thanks for being here. It
Yeah, of
feels
course.
kind of like yes, it's season 5 because we're in a new numerical Gregorian calendar year, but I still feel like this is very season 4. We're in like the last at this
It's like the
point, like a week and a half.
conclusion.
Yeah, a week and a half of the year of the wood snake.
Yeah, we'll do a little bit of a reflection. It's like a reflection. What did you say earlier? A season. We're like in this in between.
Yeah, it really, so for me, it really does feel like a season. And I think, I've talked about it on the podcast before about why like resolutions don't work because I don't think in January we're like ready to set those resolutions. And even February kind of feels like this is like hibernation time. This is like seed germinating time. Like this is like nurture
Yeah.
yourself and like you said, reflection to see what's working and what's not working. And I think the last couple of weeks, we are really seeing the last little shedding of the skin of the snake.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's interesting because I feel like, you know, growing up and being raised in New England, it's a lot. It's what you're saying resonates a lot. You're like supposed to be hibernating and hunkering down and reflecting.
I know, because
And
you're
now
totally
being
in the
here,
opposite because you're in the summer.
I was like, so being here now, living here, I just last week celebrated 10 years of moving back to Panama. So I feel like my last year that happened, right? So as we're coming into the season of reflection, I feel like my physical body, because I did some traveling last year. I feel like my physical body is now completely acclimated to the weather here and the environment here. And even though I'm where I'm right now, we're in summer right now, I still feel that energetic season that we're talking about of reflecting on the past, like whatever dumpster fire 2025 was, and trying to find the gems in there and okay, where was truth? Where was I standing in my integrity? Where could I have been doing that more? Where did I maybe lose control? Where did I have too much control? Where, this looking back on it, I feel like there were a lot of lessons that I learned about myself and about the people around me last year, like exponentially compared to other years before. I don't know that way.
Yes. And so somebody, in the interwebs said it best. I saw it yesterday. It was like, this just feels like season 6 of 2020. And I feel like this whole decade has, yeah, been that the blinders are coming off, the veils are being removed, the fog over the eyes are being lifted. Like we are seeing truth. I think even, like not to get controversial because I didn't read them yet, and like I don't think that I will, but like all of the Epstein file stuff that just got released and like all of the
Yeah.
political divide here in the United States. And I know we literally have listeners all over the world. But I am based here in the United States. And at this point, if you are still on a political side, you are part of the problem.
Yeah, I think and this is something I don't know if you and I have ever spoken about this, but for me, where I stand and in living here where I live right now in Central America, it's like when I have conversations with the people who are still, back home and stuff, it's like I see the corruption here in broad daylight. So when now all of this coming out about all of the stuff you just mentioned, it's like, good. Like, let's
Yeah.
see it. Let it
Yeah.
shine the light on all of it. But how can we do it in a way where we're not so divided? How can we
Yeah.
do it in a way where we can have conversations where we don't necessarily need to agree with each other, but like we can say like, okay, like let's look at this. We have to look at this and
I
where like
totally
put stuff on the
agree.
table. And I think that's what I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like our generation, we know that we're kind of like this bridge, right? Our generation is this bridge, and we know what things were like before the interwebs, what it was like, and now with it, and all the stuff. And that's what we're here to do, is to shine the flashlight. And I feel like I'm finally kind of feeling okay with holding it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. At this point, it's not a flashlight, it's a fucking torch.
Yes. Touche.
Uh,
Touche.
and just to like, piggyback off of that a little bit, it's like, I know you probably are too. Like, I am the conspiracy theorist friend, and there is a very fine line between like, oh, she's crazy, and like, oh, all of this shit has actually come true.
Mm-hmm. I
So,
like to
like,
consider myself the black sheep, but with glitter.
somebody called it a conspiracy realist. And I was like, oh,
I
that's
mean,
very fitting.
here's the thing. Like, I don't even think we have to even put a label on it. I feel like it's just, can I question something I don't agree with, or I'm just genuinely curious about? Is it okay to have a question about something?
Yes.
I don't know.
What is that
So
old
I
saying?
think,
Believe none of what you're told and half of what you see, or something like that.
oh, yeah.
My
Or like,
mom
it's
used to
always
say that
somewhere
all the
in the
time when
in
I was growing
between.
up.
Yeah. I mean, can we just, oh man,
I
can
don't
we just
know.
sit at the table?
I've never wanted to throw my phone into the ocean more and disappear, let me tell you.
Hey, boo, I totally get it. But that's what we're here and doing, right? And just call
Yes,
it like it
we're
is.
shedding, we're releasing, we're letting go, we're getting ready for that fire horse. I am ready.
Bring it on. Yeah, the torch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah. So it's this, let's see, the year that is asking us that we just went through, what are we ready to really just let go of?
yes, and in perfect like, not to segue, but to use this as a segue, I sent you something earlier this week that like, and I only looked into it a little bit, but core power yoga teachers are like maybe going to go on strike, and that is so interesting to me. And if you're not familiar with this, they're basically asking for cleaner, healthier studio environments and for fair wages. And I think that and Yoga Journal posted about this the other day. So I think that this is a really good conversation to have. And I've talked about it a little bit on the podcast because there are studios here in Rhode Island that are absolutely underpaying their teachers. And
Mm-hmm.
like one of the biggest studios here that makes the most money pays their yoga teachers the least. So this is a very I actually love this topic so much. And it's funny that I saw this because that yoga studio, um, I'm like in my TikTok era. So I was like scrolling through TikTok, and one of like the
Mm-hmm.
local influencers had posted about this studio and like how great it was. It's like, yeah, it's so great. Too bad they didn't pay their teachers what they deserve.
Yeah.
And that's why
I
I
think
won't
that,
step foot in that studio anymore. And it's a shame because I loved practicing there. It's like a little bit bougie. The floors are heated. It's like really nice. Um,
yeah.
but just knowing that the teachers are not getting a fair wage, like I physically cannot go there anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you know what it takes. And I think a lot of times people, and I've had this conversation with some of my students, I've actually shared a wonderful coffee after class with a couple of my students, with the intention of understanding, the student perspective in the area where I personally live right now, and saying, hey, like, I would love to learn a little bit more about like what interests you in this class. Like, what do you think about the price? And do you think it's fair? And then listening to their answer, but then also saying, okay, well, what have we as yoga instructors? We have to take a training that's not, that's most of the time thousands of dollars, and we have
Yeah.
to keep up with that.
And
Just like as a doctor has to do their continuing
yeah.
education, so does a yoga teacher.
Yeah. And not to mention you again, like there's no licensure, but you have to pay a governing body, Yoga Alliance, which a lot of us don't anymore, which it's, that's like maybe a topic for another day. But then you have to pay Yoga Alliance to be like, oh, I paid these thousands of dollars and took these classes and I pay a couple $100 a year to prove it. It's crazy.
It is crazy, but it's I think it's important as a yoga instructor and as a student of yoga to continue the education. And I think that's kind of also too what sets specific teachers apart. But I think that as a student, when you're going into these studios, like you need to be conscious of that. And it's not even, just how long it takes me to plan a class, how long it takes me to physically get to a class. I live in a very rural community. I don't have a class that's less than a half hour away.
You're also paying for my 10 plus years of knowledge.
Yes. Yes. And all of the props that I've had to invest in and all like the rent that I have to pay because I work like, I don't know, what would you call me? Like I don't know. I rent places because I don't have a there's no physical studio where I am. So I have to rent places where I teach. Right. So you might be paying me a certain amount for a class, but how much am I actually making? I don't think students realize that. And I think that it's, it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had. And I think, what was that? You also sent me something, or I sent it to you. I can't remember. And it was like, where was that studio? They had a different model. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There was like this
it was
very
like in
specific,
Austin or something, Austin, Texas.
And it was a very communal way that they had. I wish I could remember.
I think it was like on a sliding scale or something, or a donation. I can't remember.
It was a really interesting model.
There's a yoga studio here that I just connected with the owner of, and I can't wait to learn from her. She, depending on your experience, she starts you off at $50 just for walking through the door. And yeah. And you can make all the way up to $150 an hour if your class is full. And yes, I want to know how she's doing this so that I can bring it to my studio, because teachers do deserve that type of pay because of the trainings that they're going through. I mean, if you have 200-hour teacher training, okay, $20 a class, completely sufficient. But what really pisses me off and is so anti-yoga is a lot of the people that I have worked for since becoming a yoga teacher have always said oh, you can't be a full-time yoga teacher. You need to have another job and teach for fun. No.
Yeah.
This is a career path and you should be able to make a living wage from doing this.
Holding sacred space for people who need it and who doesn't need that right now.
Yeah.
Right
tell
now,
tell me I'm not of service. I have a shitload of free resources. This podcast is a free resource.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So don't tell me I'm not of service, because I do plenty of things of service. I do charity classes for
you do a lot.
So and I know other teachers are too. I'm speaking very generally and I'm speaking for myself, and just what came up through this conversation with these core power yoga teachers. And I think it is so important because you think of core power, it is I don't know if it's international. I know it's all over the United States. It is a huge multi-million-dollar franchise.
Come on. And if they can't provide,
can pay your yoga teachers, especially because they have to go through very specific training, and they are also holding the training. So they're making money on the trainings. They're making
Yeah,
money off of their teachers, and there's enough money to go around.
there is. And I think right now, more than anything, people, I can't tell you the amount of people that I've had after classes recently, just like don't even want to come up out of Savasana. And they're just like, I needed that.
I needed
I
that, and it's
mean,
just a little rest.
100%. And that's what I mean. Like right now, I think people are, it's just, it makes me sad that, and it's not even just yoga teachers. I think anyone who works with, you know, hold space like that is undervalued in this moment in time right now. And
Yes.
I think it's definitely a topic of conversation that I think as a teacher and also as a student, that's really, really important.
Yes. And I think that brings us to our next topic, that people are so unwell and they're looking and searching for community, and
Mm-hmm.
they are literally sucking the energy out of the room because they don't have that. And like, this is also a very nuanced topic because we are creating community and holding space and giving students a place to be seen, but at what cost? Like, I had a situation this week where students overstepped his bounds and was becoming an energy vampire and making
Mm-hmm.
me and my TA feel unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
But he thinks he's owed this, and I said this to you before we started recording, but it is a shame that just being a kind and genuine person, that people are so starved for attention that they take that genuine kindness that you would give anyone and they make it about themselves, where they overinflate their sense of worth, I guess it is, that like you are giving them this special attention, but that's not what it is. You literally treat everyone with the same kindness, but they
And
just
respect.
take like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just gross. And they feel entitled to your energy just because you're a kind person that is out here shining your light. And
Mm-hmm. And seeing the human in everyone. I think that
yeah,
that's where sometimes, and a lesson I learned to come from full circle from what we were speaking about in the beginning of this conversation is, seeing the human in everyone, but also holding your boundary
yes, yes,
as a space holder and knowing when things are not aligned or not feeling safe, um, for you and for the other people that you're holding community for. You know what I mean? So it's and trying to do that as an instructor, and then going to have teach a class later, your energy is going to be off. If I'm going through something personally and I know that I can still teach a class and I will still successfully teach a class, but I will not give an assist in Savasana, or I will not physically put my hands on someone. And I always ask permission first because I think that's also really important. But I will, if I know that my energy does not feel right, if something feels off, or I'm going through something personally that I need to work out, I need to work that out first before I'm going to put my hands on somebody,
yeah,
and give
absolutely.
an assist in class,
But as
because that just,
somebody who it's your career, you can't just like, oh, I need to take a day because my energy is off.
yep,
And it,
you got to still do it.
yeah, you got to still do it. So and that was something that I had to do this week. And I was talking about it before we started recording, but I've already been feeling depleted. I've already been feeling a little overstretched, and um because I'm giving a lot of my energy out. I'm really like making myself visible and putting my whole pussy into this.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not half-assing anything. So to have this happen my classes this week, I walked away from them going like, oh, that class wasn't it. Like it just didn't.
Hmm.
My energy is off because of this. And it is
Hmm.
learning to be able to regulate your nervous system, but I think it's also important to be self-aware and to be self-aware and to know when you're overtaking.
And to integrate everything. You've got to give yourself time too. Like when you get home, like I think I made a post about this once where like everyone talks about the morning routine. I think as someone who holds space for a living, we have to come home and like put our legs up the wall.
Yeah. And
Just
home needs to be
integrate
the
the whole
sanctuary.
exactly and take a hot second before, and do the cord cutting meditations. You know what I mean? Like if you had a difficult class or whatever, you cut the cord of that and you allow yourself to integrate whatever happened so you can go to sleep at night and wake up and, continue and do a little bit better the next day, I think. Um,
Yes, it is
I think,
important because I mean, I said it to you this earlier this week. Like, I woke up from a full 8 hour uninterrupted sleep, and like by uh,
yeah,
any normalcy, like I should have woken up feeling fine, but I was
yeah,
literally so exhausted. I could
yeah,
feel it in my eyes. Like it was
yeah.
it was such a deep exhaustion and like I couldn't wrap my head around it, but it's definitely energetic from this situation that happened this week that was 100% sucking my energy. And
Absolutely.
it was bring back the torch. Like I'm ready. Like we ride at dawn. My boundaries will
Yeah,
not be fucked with. Like I will not be fucked with.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
did kind of call out this student and not in like a confrontational way, but in a way of like, have a little self awareness. Like, you made
Mm-hmm.
two women who
Mm-hmm.
were alone at night feel uncomfortable. So, whether or not it was your intention to be creepy or like whatever your intention was, you
Mm-hmm.
scared two women.
Yeah.
Have some
Personal
fucking
responsibility.
self
Personal responsibility.
reflection.
Yeah. Especially as a yoga student.
Yeah, 100%. And this isn't just like any yoga student. Like he's basically gone through a 200 hour. I think he missed like 2 weeks. So then he had
Yeah.
the nerve to tell me that I wasn't walking my walk or talk like I wasn't walking the walk that I talk. And like I talk about it on the podcast all the time. Like anyone who knows me knows that that is not fucking true.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
really
Haters gonna hate.
haters gonna hate. It really triggered me. And like men out here need to just be doing better. They need to be
Yeah.
doing better.
Yes. I think it's a challenging thing to be able to have this like uncertainty or sense of security happening that maybe is a little bit rocky within you and then having to teach a class. And I think a lot of people, there is this misconception where it's like, oh, you're a yoga teacher, you should be zen all the time. Or like, I've gone to a few clinics and seen doctors where they're like, oh, well, you know what to do, you can, just meditate. It's like you get dismissed because you're this, you know know-all yoga teacher. And it's like, actually, when you need to ask for support,
People are
no,
like,
like
oh,
that
you
is
got the
actually what
tools. You're fine.
exactly. And it's like, that's actually why I do practice as a student, is because it's an incredible tool. And I think that that's just something to be aware of as a student, as a teacher, when you walk into a class, to be aware of the value of the person in front of you,
Yes, because it's
and
so
honor
much
that.
more than a fitness class. Like it's not about the movement.
No, yeah. And I think it's like, I honor, one of the things that I always say to my students when I close class is like how grateful I am that you show up, not to my class, that you are showing up for yourself. And it's an honor for me to guide you in this practice, and just say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so I just am at the end of the day, I'm really grateful that I can do this. And it's difficult sometimes, I think, when people don't understand the actual financial reality of some of us that live as full-time yoga teachers in this
Yeah.
world today.
Yeah. I mean, everyone I talk to, they're like, you're a full-time yoga teacher? Oh my God, how do you do it? And it's like, well, how
I
much
don't
time do you
know.
have? How much time do you have?
Seriously. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely like going through this and I've talked about this the last couple of years. Like I'm going again through this like uncomfortable
Growth. This
growth
is what it is.
transition and
And,
uh,
and
I'm
yeah.
really stepping into this place of being unapologetic of like I'm a teacher of this work. I am a student of this work. It does not mean that I'm
Yes.
perfect. It does not mean that I am coming from this on a pedestal or that I'm better than you. And I said this, if you haven't listened to the Mindset Radio podcast, I was just on the Mindset Radio podcast a few weeks ago, and you can watch that on YouTube. And I talk about it there. Like, there is nothing special about me. There is nothing that makes me a better yoga teacher than anyone else. I just decided to do this work and I decided to fully step into it and embody it.
Yeah.
And anyone can do it. I am not special. I just like saw the work, jumped in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you definitely are special in your own way, which
Oh,
we all
thank you.
are. And I think, yeah, absolutely. And I think but I think it pulls this work pulls so hard for you. And that's why you're doing exactly what you're doing. And it's
Yes.
hard because, I mean, for those who don't know, we were on a call for what was it, like 3 hours last week, doing some like technical stuff. That's the other thing I think people don't understand is like what it takes to be this like novice content creator and doing all these tech stuff when really like I would love to just be in front of a class all day and teach. But there's other things that go with the business that I think are not like people don't connect the dots, which is like I don't know. So
Yeah. Yeah. 3.5 hours
I'm
of us sitting in front of a computer. And I mean,
but we
honestly,
did it.
we did
We
it.
made it work and we figured it out. And it's this so uncomfortable. Like we're sitting here laughing, crying, wanting to throw up, scream, all the things together. But like this is what it's about. And this is why we're here, is because like I don't want to do it alone. I know you don't want to do it alone. That's why you created Very Enlightened, because you don't want anyone else to feel alone. You want to give the people the tools, you want to create community, et cetera, et cetera. And it's a beautiful thing. And
Yeah.
I think that's why, there is a way to make it a
Yes.
full-time thing.
And because I really want to see the world be a better place. And this is what I want to
Amen.
talk about is
Yes.
like, it's so disheartening. And I am not perfect. I have made mistakes. I will continue to make mistakes. I have sometimes been the mean girl. I have been the bitch. I am not perfect.
You're the yogi walrus. Okay.
If you know,
So
you know.
let's
If you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to that episode.
so just FYI.
But yeah, it's like why I got into this work is like I am tired of people operating out of just like personal take and like they only care about themselves and like these narcissistic traits that we have glorified. I am fucking done with. I am fucking
Yep.
done with. And it's like I have a great village. And I have a
Yeah.
great village because I was taught to be a great villager. And that's why
Ooh,
these
yes.
these people who tend to have narcissistic traits overtake from people like us
Mm-hmm.
because they are not used to having a village. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to create the villages so that we can start undoing these patterns of selfishness and just like these
Mm-hmm.
narcissistic traits. And I told you before we started recording, but I literally feel like a fucking magnet
Mm-hmm.
for narcissistic assholes.
You're giving people a chance to take personal responsibility, and it's not your fault if they can't do that work.
And also, like, I was talking about it with my friend Dominic, who I really hope to have on this podcast someday. And I probably talked about him on this podcast before, but he was saying how when your light, you kind of like shine the light on their actual behaviors. Like they identify with you as you are, as this pure, genuine person in their mind. They're not, but in their mind, they are. And when somebody pure and genuine who has deep self-awareness shines a light on, like, no, 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 I'm going to be your mirror. Like, this is the work that you have to do.
Here's your pattern recognition. Like, let me show you. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So, cockroach is going to cockroach.
Yeah.
But it's not going to scare me away from doing this work. But it did teach me to have better boundaries. And I'm not going to let people suck my energy like that. And I'm here to do this work. This is my profession. And if you don't respect me or respect what I do, then there's the door.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that that's kind of what the ultimate lesson is like knowing where and who to go to for support, and knowing your value, and creating the boundary and standing firm in that, which you're really good at doing. So
nice and kind, but do not cross my boundary. Do not mistake my kindness for weakness. And you can be a predator all you want, but you will not fucking prey on me or anyone in my village, because I will fucking burn it all down.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a lot of us have a fire lit underneath our ass right now for really good reasons with great intentions.
Yeah.
But I think there's this, like, I feel like I talk about this a lot, is like sacred rage. It's like this, not something to be, I don't think anger is a bad quote unquote emotion. I think it's a sacred response to a boundary that's been crossed. I think it's a sacred response to something that's not right. And I think that's
even God gave permission to flip a table when people were being full of hypocrisy and immorality.
Yeah.
Even God flipped some fucking tables. So I agree.
Yeah. And I think especially, as a female right now, there's plenty of reasons to want to flip a table. And I think that not being afraid to scoop your hands underneath it and flip it over. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of things that both of us learned this past year where I think it's just it was really hard to walk through. There were some really hard things to walk through last year, but I think the growth now, I don't know if we're on the other side yet, but we're there. And there's this like sacred rage. I feel like that's how my business came to be, is I was in a physical, energetic, emotional, spiritual space where I was so mad. I was sad, but I was so angry about so much, and I needed to make a change. And that's how Anahata was born. Anahata. And it's from the heart space, because there was this fire within my heart that knew something had to give, and the only person who was going to make the change was me. I can't change anybody else. I can't change things I can't control, but I can control myself and figure out how to move forward. And I think when the intention is to help others and to guide others to see that and to see it in themselves, is like, I mean, come on, it's the best.
Yes. And I think that is one of the things that got us through this challenging year, was leaning into the tools. We created the Deepen Your Practice Challenge to dive deeper into the practice, but to highlight the tools that we use that fucking work. They're tried and true. There's a reason why they've been around for 6,000 years. It's because it works.
And that's the thing. And you know what I mean? Just tapping into all the themes of this conversation. Showing up, both of us, I was in a messy place the first time we did it. I was in a messy place.
The
And we
second
did
time we
it.
did it, I was in a very messy place. So I get it.
So, but we're doing it, we're coming back, we're showing up for ourselves and doing it in this like raw, authentic way where like, okay, my fat roll is hanging out when I'm going through this flow and I don't care because I'm showing up as myself. My child, my 4-year-old is crawling all over me, but here I am showing up, you know, to talk about asteya or to talk about ahimsa and to bring that back into the forefront as a student of yoga, as a teacher of yoga. And like, I know very much you did this as well. The first time we ran through the program is bringing these concepts even into our classes. Like, okay, yes, I made this post today. I'm going to also talk about this in my classes this afternoon because it's relevant and it's important. And yes, we're here to do physical asana, but hey, did you know XYZ?
Yes. And it's like I've talked about before. If we're only talking about asana in our classes as yoga teachers, if you are a student of yoga and your teachers are only talking about asana, find yourself a new teacher because the practice is more than a yoga practice. It's a physical practice. It's more than a movement class. If you're just talking about asana, then you might as well be at the gym sitting on machines.
Absolutely. And just to plug it in, anyone can join the yoga challenge, the 30-day yoga challenge, whenever you would like. Giana will link it in the show notes. And for less than $1 a day, you can do it for a month. And I guarantee you, your mindset will shift. Your physical body will probably shift. You'll have so many new things to think about, and you'll have it forever. And you can keep coming back to it.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful tool.
After that first round through, I feel like it really ignited me and carried me through the whole summer. It really gave me a solid foundation to align with my values, to align people in my circle with the same values. If you were not showing up being a morally ethical person, see you later.
No, yeah.
I do not have the time and space for that. And it sounds like heartless and
no, it doesn't. It's a filter. It was an energetic filter, I think.
A boundary.
And I think that after the first round, when we did it, both of us had opportunities. There were doors that opened for both of us.
Yeah.
And I think it's because we were showing up as ourselves.
Authentically.
And not showing up to put this pretty face online or to regurgitate whatever we think we needed to regurgitate. I think it was we both did it from a very personal perspective. I mean, anyone can go look at our Instagram accounts and go through and even compare the two of us and just see how you can have a different way to look at all of the 8 limbs of yoga and how beautiful the practice of yoga is and how well-rounded it is as a whole. And so I would encourage anyone listening to this to try the 30-day yoga challenge.
Yes. Yes. And if you've ever wanted to know about yoga, like more than the asana, I think we only spend like 2 or 3 days on the asana.
Yeah. I think there's like a week where we go through like hip opening, heart opening, a flow.
We link it to whatever. Pranayama. It's like not just.
It's not just. It's very. I think it's a very minimal part of the challenge as a whole.
I mean, there were yoga teachers that did our first round that were like some of the things you talked about. I had no idea about.
Which is incredible. And I think reflects a lot on.
And they're not hard practices. They're things that you can integrate into your day, like 2 or 3 minutes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing is like, it's basically, right, just to quickly run down, you're getting an email every day and it gives you prompts. It gives you, things you can write about if you would, get a new notebook and go through this. And that's why if you do it a couple of times, like I know you said yourself, comparing where you were with the first round, with the second round, and just
Oh my
allowing
gosh.
yourself to move, allowing yourself to grow, and allowing yourself to be in different seasons and
And especially
love it.
because that second round, like shit was hitting the fan left and right.
Yeah. And that's okay. And you know what I mean? Finding your own humanness in it and doing it again.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Oh yeah. We're in it.
we're in it,
Keeping
baby.
high.
Yeah. And that's not the only tool you offer. Tell us about another other tools that you offer.
Oh my gosh, I have so many. So we also have the Get Meditating guide. So that is a free guide. If you've ever just like thought about meditation and don't know where to start, that's a really good place. It gives you a good foundation to start to integrate that into your life. And like I said, like these tools don't have to be this big long thing. Like we complicate meditation in our mind. Like so many people like, I can't meditate, I can't relax. It's like, okay, well, that's exactly why you need it. And it
Absolutely.
doesn't have to be a long thing, like literally 3 minutes a day. We all have 3 minutes a day
Yep.
where we can just
Absolutely.
close our eyes and breathe for a little bit. And yeah, it might be uncomfortable. It might be uncomfortable to sit there in stillness.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why stillness is difficult. It is the advanced practice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always like to say stillness speaks. You find a lot of yourself in those moments if you allow yourself to get there.
Yeah. And sometimes just sitting there being uncomfortable and like feeling unsuccessful, you did the
Mm-hmm.
work. You did the work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we have the Get Meditating guide, and then we have a meditation portal called Meditate to Elevate. It's a 30-day guided journey, plus there are other meditations in there, and eventually at some point we'll be adding more, I'm sure. And that is a really great guide. There's also a bonus in there about how to stay present when things are a little bit challenging. And yeah, I think that's it. Our Get Meditating guide, Meditate to Elevate guided meditation portal, and our 30-day challenge. They are great places to start. They're very low price point, so they're totally affordable. And
Mm,
again, just going back to like making it accessible.
yeah, I think that's important. Yes.
Yeah. So, as we're closing up, we're rounding out the last few, let's see. So the 17th is the Lunar New Year. So that gives us like 11 days. 11 days. So
Yeah.
we're really wrapping up the year here. So,
Yeah.
one final question I'll ask you is what are you ready to shed as this year
What
really
am
comes
I
to an
ready to
end?
shed? Ooh. Oh, that's a good one. What am I really ready to shed? I think what I'm really ready to shed is this need to control anything and everything, really. Just kind of giving it up um, to the higher power and staying in flow in a sense where I think it's probably the biggest lesson I learned last year is, not putting my foot in a door that maybe, I don't want to say it's not welcome, but forcing myself through doors
That
um,
aren't for you.
aren't for me. And to basically, yes, stay in my lane, but also, you know, just over the past 2 weeks, I realized how much more I'm in flow when I wake up in the morning and I don't have a set schedule. And this is just me. I know there's some people that like need routine and all this stuff. I can have an idea of what I would like to have done because I have 4 different jobs. Um, and I can have this idea, but I think it's beautiful that I can flow through each of them whenever and however is needed. And if I think I can just remind myself that I'm safe, no one's going to die if the zucchini is not watered, and everything's going to be okay. And just showing up as myself. So, really, just shedding this need to think I need to control everything because there's no way that I can.
Yes.
What about you? What are you ready to shed?
I am ready to shed being an overgiver to overtakers
Mm,
and
yeah.
to really learn that balance of a symbiotic relationship. And when
Mm,
someone can't meet me where I'm at, that doesn't mean that I need to try harder.
hmm
And that's definitely something I'm wrapping up with like my last relationship as he was like pulling back and I was over giving energy and then he was taking even more and giving even less. Like I don't
hmm
think that love or relationships are tit for tat. And I think
Mm-mm.
that sometimes someone's showing up 80% and someone's showing up 20%, and sometimes it's 70% and 30%, sometimes it's 50-50, sometimes it's 100-100. You can't
But
expect,
there's
but there's a fine line. And I tend to be the type of person that overgives to like prove my worth. And I think that I even see it in my work a little
mm,
bit, which is why like I've been feeling a little bit burnt out, is when the challenges arise, instead of me pulling back and resting for a minute and just like reevaluating and realigning, I just like throw it all in there and overgive. So balancing, I don't want to stop giving. I don't want to stop being there. Like I said, I love and
reciprocity.
I love and appreciate that I have a good, strong village.
hmm
And I know that part of that is because I am a good villager. I'm there when somebody
hmm
needs me to be, and I have no problem jumping in and doing the hard work and getting my hands a little dirty.
hmm
But knowing where that energy is appreciated and
Reciprocity. Yeah. About, yeah. When you like, you deserve that. We all deserve that,
yes, and I
especially in the
definitely
line of work that you do.
going to therapy really helped me realize like all of the amazing, good, healthy, symbiotic relationships that I have.
Yeah.
Like I
And
was
focusing
just
on those.
focusing
Yeah.
on these one or two.
hmm
And, and yes, some of it is a mirror in the work that I need to do, but um like yeah, sometimes you got to flip a table and walk away from the narcissist.
Yeah. Amen. I'm proud
So
of
yeah,
you.
that is what I am working on.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for listening.
Of
This was a great
course.
episode. I say that every
Yeah.
time, but it's
I
always
get
a
better and better.
yeah, I get better and better. And if you
hmm
haven't listened to that episode, the Yogi Walrus, go and listen to that episode. If you haven't listened to me on on the Mindset Radio podcast with Mike and Sheena, like go and do that. That was a great episode. You can watch it on YouTube. It's literally like a TV show. It's so great. It was so beautifully done. Um, and if you're curious about diving into this work, try the Get
Reach
Meditating
out.
Guide. It's completely free. Reach out.
Reach
Uh,
out. We're
yeah,
here. We're
reach out on
human.
social media. Yeah. We're trying our best to put out our silly reels and to make it relatable and fun. So go ahead and give us a
Yeah.
follow and support. Grab the Get Meditating Guide. It's totally free. It's a one-page PDF. It'll just like give you a little bit of tools to set the foundation. And then if you're curious about diving in deeper, try the Meditate to Elevate guided meditation portal or the 30-day challenge. Both are great resources, great tools to stick in the toolbox.
Yeah. And get going because we got some good stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yes. And
So,
now, so being in this season of the end of one year, and really, like I said this before we started recording, I think that New Year's is like a season. And
hmm
I really think that starts with the Lunar New Year and it brings us to about April 1st.
hmm
And like I really do believe that April 1st or even the spring equinox is probably the real New Year.
hmm
Especially it makes more sense that yeah,
See,
the start
come
of
on.
Aries season, Aries is the first zodiac, like it just makes so much more sense.
It does. I mean, to me, it does.
But it makes sense too that it's like a season. It's like a couple weeks. It's not just a day. And this is the time. So this is why I think, and I've mentioned it in podcast episodes before, like in previous seasons, that I don't believe that resolutions work because we're not doing it at the right time. I think January
Mm,
to mid-February is really a spot to like rest, to nurture yourself, to nurture your body, mind, and spirit, to reflect, to see what's aligning, what's not aligning, to reevaluate. And then we can come into the period of the new year where we're setting the goals. We're like germinating the seeds a little bit. We're doing the work that's going to get us the fruit.
absolutely. It's raining.
Oh,
It
see, you
hasn't
don't.
it hasn't rained in like almost a month.
Oh my gosh. See, you don't even have to water the zucchini today.
You don't see? See? That's what I mean. I just trust.
It'll get done.
I trust that everything is going to come working out for me. Everything is working out for
Everything
the
is always
highest good of
working out.
all. For the highest good of all. Amen. Yes.
Amen. That's a beautiful place to wrap it up today.
Yeah.
Check the
Thank
show
you so much.
notes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh. Thanks so much for being here. And thank all of you for listening and tuning into today's episode of the Nearly Enlightened podcast. If this conversation resonated with you, I would love it if you shared it, left a review, or you could reach out to either Dee or I and let us know your thoughts. If you're looking for more ways to deepen your connection to body, mind, and spirit, check out my Meditate to Elevate guided meditation portal or visit nearlyenlightened.com for more resources. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and remember the answers already lie within.